Welcome to the Boxing Talk Show.
Fair but firm.
With the Hall of Fame boxing referee.
I'm Joe Cortez.
And co-host John Zamel for all of Las Vegas.
Come on, guys. Let's touch them up. 3 fight. I'm Joe Cortez. Fair but firm.
Well, welcome to the Fair but Firm Show here, Las Vegas, Nevada, the boxing capital of the world. My co-host John Zimmer, Joe Cortez here. We're so happy, and you know how much we love boxing. I'm very passionate when it comes to boxing, and I want you fans to continue watching and get educated on the rules on boxing. And we talk about fights of the past, memory lane. Of course, we talk about these fights this past weekend, John.
Yes, sir. It was a great weekend, man. It was an excellent weekend. There's been a lot of eyes on Teofimo Lopez. He's been a very big up and comer. He was the Prospect of the Year for the Ring Magazine, Sports Illustrated, ESPN, Yahoo Sports. He was also the Prospect of the Year in 2017 for Yahoo Sports. This is a guy who the whole world's been watching for a little while now, especially after his big knockout of Mason Menard, which was a knockout of the year candidate last year. And this weekend, we had a chance for him to see a significant step up in competition against Diego Magdaleno, a gentleman who's been around for a very long time, a well-seasoned veteran, a well-seasoned warrior. Maybe not top class, but definitely a step up in competition for him. And he looked really good that night. He looked really, really good.
Yeah, well, I'm glad Teofimo is definitely one of the rising stars in boxing. And all I can say is that I know him personally, and being with him this past summer, he showed me that he has a lot of class. Very, very, very passionate individual. He loves the fans. He loves to be around. One day at one of the fights, recently I was sitting right in front of Bob Arum, his promoter was right behind me. He said, Joe, he said, look at this. Diego was helping the ring car girls coming into the ring, and he was opening the ropes for them, giving them for the whole night. I mean, this kind of guy that Teofimo is. He's a loving young man, has a lot of talent, nothing's gone to his head. And I've always told him, keep going the way you're going, keep yourself focused, be grounded, don't let these bad guys around you ruin your career, like we have seen it so many other times. This kid, Teofimo, is definitely going places.
Absolutely. He's a hard worker. You know, his dad compares him to Floyd Mayweather because he's been like, he's because of his work ethic alone. They say that he's the hardest worker, first in the gym, last out of the gym, everything like that. And you can see it. You can also see his flair for showmanship, which his 2 favorite fighters were Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather, which a lot of people's are. They're the 2 biggest in the world. And you can see their influence in the way that he promotes and in the way that he puts on a show afterwards. The backflips, the dances, the whole thing. I mean, he's an exciting show in the ring.
Yeah, I like to see these guys do what they do with the showmanship and all that. But I said to myself, man, one day he's gonna make one of the backflips and hurt himself. Maybe more than if he got hurt in the actual fight himself. You know, but I mean,
that'd be a shame, right?
Yeah. But I don't know. You know, I mean, you seen fighters trying to do some flips over the ring and they fall and get hurt. I saw something on YouTube the other day. The guy was flipping, trying to get over the rope. He fell down and hurt his ankle.
He tried to do the Prince Naseem?
Yeah, then he was hopping around the ring like before the fight started. So if you're going to do your tricks and all that flip-flop stuff, do it after, but not before.
Do it afterwards. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't even think they should do it at all.
Yeah.
Especially when you're going up the rank. You got up there, you don't want to mess up your ankle anyway.
There was a lot of blowback. I mean, given that this is what we talk about every time, there was blowback that maybe the fight should have been stopped earlier. Did you feel like it was stopped at the right time?
But you know what? You got to give Diego a lot of credit. I mean, he's a warrior. He's a warrior. He's a seasoned fighter. And if they would have stopped it a little sooner, they would have been complaining, well, you know, with a seasoned guy like this, I always say it's better stop it a punch too soon than a punch too late. You know,
exactly.
Like I've always said
yes,
before. Sir. But Diego, you know, tried his best. But when he told the guy, come on.
Yeah, he was still talking smack at the end, man. I mean, after.
And after getting punched around like that, and that last punch that put it down, that left hook was really a devastating punch.
Oh, my God. The one that set it up was even more. I mean, it was crazy. Back to back to the same spot. Teofimo's got some real power in those hands, man.
Yeah. But anyway, we wish the best for Diego. And I sent him a text the other night after the fight, you know, wishing him well. And I tell him, you know, there's other careers in boxing other than if you don't make it to that level you want to make it to, they can get behind the mic. They can do a lot of stuff as commentators. He's very sharp, good-looking guy. He knows a lot about boxing. So I think a career for him would be to do something with one of the networks.
I agree with you. He speaks very well. A lot of people don't know. We do a Saturday show as well, and he was our first guest ever on our Saturday show. We had him again this Saturday before the fight talking about, and anyone who thinks that gentleman showed up for a paycheck or knew he was going to lose doesn't know Diego Magdaleno. Yes. He showed up ready to win, ready to shock the world, and he didn't get the result he wanted, But that was a man who came in with a real warrior spirit, and it's refreshing to see that sometimes.
He said before the fight, he told me that, Joe, I'm ready for tonight. That morning when he spoke to us,
Yeah.
same to the fight. He said, Joe, I'm ready. I'm more focused. This fight means everything to me, just like it does to him. So, like, they're looking to, he was looking to really get that big win. It didn't happen, but, that's boxing for you.
Isn't it ever? Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing is it in YouTube? People ask me, is it on YouTube? Yes, it probably is on YouTube. I don't know, but it probably is on there by now. But a lot of fans can look at it. As a matter of fact, our director is telling us that it is on YouTube, so you can check it out for those of you who missed it on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that was just the start of a night. I mean, right after that, you have Oscar Valdez, who I believe is the IBF featherweight champion. Yeah. He put on another show against, I can't remember his name. It's an Italian fighter.
Yeah.
Oscar, something to Tommy. And he was a guy whose record had been padded. He'd mostly fought in Italy. And he looked good against him, but he got hit a lot. You think when he steps up in competition, really, against some of the real players in the division, the Josh Warringtons and those guys, you think he's not going to be able to take that same amount of punishment?
Well, it's not going to be that easy. I always say you got to, work your way up. I mean, some of these fighters, they have great talent, but you have to work at it. I mean, with every fight, you always learn more and more and more.
You're supposed to.
So hopefully next fight he comes out a little bit sharper than what he did Saturday night.
But then, we had the main event, my friend.
Main event, Elider Alvarez, Colombian fighter.
Yes, sir.
Fought against Sergey Kovalev for the WBO light heavyweight championship. And Kovalev, had lost twice to Andrew Ward and didn't look that great in those two fights. Everybody thought that maybe that was
the first one he looked good. The second one he looked good in the beginning, and then he faded. And then after he got put down by Elider, in their first fight, his last fight, it looked like that was curtains for Kovalev's career.
Yeah, but he came back Saturday night. He still showed that he, like I always say, he has a little spark of the old flash.
This is his third time winning the WBO light heavyweight championship.
Well, that goes on for his records, on his resume. But he's at the age now, he's over 40. And I say when you're over 40, sometimes you kind of basically, had it all.
He looked good. He looks real good, but what do you expect to see? Do you still expect him to contend to the top with the Dimitri Bivols and the?
No, he's gonna have a tough time by holding on to that title.
I agree with you.
I think he's gonna lose that title to one.
He'll probably get one more payday against one of those big guys, lose his title, and retire.
But he could say at least I was champion 3 different occasions. So by winning Saturday night against Alvarez was a good thing for him.
Absolutely.
I mean, he gave it all he had.
And he won a bunch of other belts too, but just the WBO alone is his third time winning it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How many people can say that?
I got a couple of belts in my closet.
Do you?
Yeah, but that's about the only kind of belts I ever get.
I know. I have some that don't fit anymore in my closet.
But anyway, I think Kovalev, we got to thank him for his spirit, for his fighting days, and he's really given us a lot. And hopefully that he looks at a retirement in the near future, because you can't go on forever, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And obviously he has, his outside the ring troubles to have to worry about too. So we hope that we're happy to see him back in the ring. We're happy to see him looking good. Once again, we're happy to see that, to regain that spirit of the great Sergey Kovalev. It was nice to see him with his hand raised at the end at least one more time.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fans, he has a lot of fan favorite. He's a fan favorite.
He is.
So he has a big fan base behind him. And I think the fans were very pleased, especially a lot of the Europeans and Russian fighters.
Absolutely, the Eastern European fans they followed him for a lot.
They follow him a lot. But I say, we wish you the best of luck, and thank you for giving us what you've always had, been the spirit of a champion, and you definitely showed it Saturday night.
I could not agree more, Joe. That was an excellent way to put it.
Yeah. Now we got other fights coming up in the very near future. Let's talk about now.
This is coming Saturday?
Well, let's talk a little bit about what happened to Abdul Martis the other day. Through training,
this is very serious.
He got another detached retina. That's the second time, and now maybe it can hinder his career.
This could end his career.
Yeah, it can end it.
I mean, when he got his first one, people were thinking it was going to be over. That maybe he'd cash out one more time against Jesus Cuellar and
Leo Santa Cruz.
Oh yeah, but he kept winning, or not winning, but he kept fighting, kept looking good. Abner Maris is a 4-time world champion. He's no pushover. He's no joke. He's a guy who's got a real warrior spirit. We've seen him get beat in a crazy match with Leo Santa Cruz, come back against another one. I mean, in 2 Fight of the Year candidates back to back. This is a real. I keep saying warrior, but that's what these guys are. You know.
Anyway, well, we wish him the very best, speedy recovery, and let's see what happens with Maris in the near future.
And he's got his studio job. He's great in there.
Yeah, exactly.
And so if it doesn't work out for him, we know that he looks good in a suit and he sounds good behind the mic. So nothing else.
Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff with ESPN too as well.
Absolutely.
Now this coming Saturday, we have a good fight coming up.
Well, yeah, his replacement. We have Hugo Ruiz, which is an interesting case. We have Hugo Ruiz is going to be the replacement filling in. Now, his opponent is Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis has fought in 3 rounds total in the last 18 months. Hugo Ruiz, on the other hand, fought more than that 3 weeks ago against in the Pacquiao-Broner undercard.
For 6 rounds, right?
No, so yeah, I believe 6-round fight in that one. Either way, you have a guy who just came. Is there such a thing as coming back too soon? I mean, is this too soon?
No. There was a great Gaspar Ortega who got me started in boxing. Gaspar had 27 fights in 1 year. Yes, you heard that correct. Look at BoxRec, you see 1965, Gaspar Ortega from Tijuana, Mexico.
That's amazing.
And he had 1 year, 27 fights. He had a total of 185 professional fights.
That's too many.
And only got stopped twice.
Oh my gosh.
By TKO, not knockout. He got stopped by Abel Griffin for the welterweight title. And shortly after that, he fought Sandro Massinghi in Italy.
Oh, I love that.
And they stopped it in between rounds in the corner. So, I mean, that's the only 2 times Gaspar Ortega. But fighting back in the day, man, these guys were fighting.
Yeah.
They fought today 6 months later, 6 weeks later.
Yeah, another big fight.
They were fighting the rematch.
Yeah, you look at Sugar Ray Robinson. He had a lot of those, a lot of very close.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
So then, on the other hand,
with Jake LaMotta, they fought 6 times.
Can you take too long between fights? Gervonta Davis has been very inactive, and it's been. I know he's young; he's only 24, but
I think his trainer going to have that DW40 oil to get that rigorous out of them.
I know, and he's young. He's a good kid, and he fights hard. But at the same time, you only fought 3 rounds. You got to get those rounds in, right? Like people always talk about when you're a prospect, you got to get those rounds.
But you know what happens? You're an automatic. You're a puncher, and you want to go more rounds. But when you hit those guys,
sometimes it's hard. Yeah.
Sometimes you think you're not hitting them hard.
Tell Mike Tyson he's got to get some rounds in.
But they go there. Mike Tyson was knocking guys out in the first rounds.
Exactly.
So many of his opponents, they were like, I don't know, over 15 of his opponents were all the first round knockouts. So I mean, if you got it, you got it. God bless you. You can have that knockout power. But you got to be careful that you don't go too inactive when not getting that. First of all, the more rounds you fight, the more experience you're going to get.
Exactly.
It makes you sharp. It makes you better. Sometimes you got to carry these guys a little bit just to get that ring rust out of you.
Tyson Fury did that in his second comeback fight right before Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
The first one was shaking off a little rust. He didn't look good. But the second one against Pianeta, he was getting his rounds in, and you could tell. Not that he's really been a knockout artist ever anyway, but you could tell that he was coasting. He was trying to get a feel for that ring again.
Right.
And so, either way, do you think Gervonta Davis was probably going to put Abner Mares down, and he's probably going to put this guy down? I mean, anything can happen. We know this but the outcome is probably going to be the same, correct?
Well, you never know. Boxing is strange. You never know what can happen in boxing. But Abner Mares, I'm sure, was going to give it all he had.
He always does.
And unfortunately, this happened to him. But let's see what his opponent Ruiz can do.
It's a funny juxtaposition, the size difference, because this is a guy who he went from fighting Abner Mares, who he was going to be taller than Abner Mares. But now he's going to be about 4 or 5 inches shorter than Hugo Ruiz. But Hugo Ruiz has fought at 122 for the last several fights until the last one, which was finally 126. Now he's going up to 130 3 weeks later. He's going to be smaller, considerably smaller than Gervonta Davis, who has a hard time making weight at 130 as it is.
Yeah, well, Gervonta Davis knows what he has in front of him. I think it's not going to bother him. And Ruiz, he's coming up 3 weeks after fighting.
Still sharp, hopefully.
I mean, but he's going to be sharp, but I'm sure that he's not going to be half as good as Davis. Davis really...
He's real special, isn't he?
He's very special, a good lightweight, and he's going to be around. But one thing about, I wish he had more height, but, he's shorter, and that gives him more punching power.
He's stocky, too. He's got some real power in his hands.
He's a pit bull in there. He can really...
Absolutely.
He can really give it to you there.
And it seems like him and his promotional team have been making up lately. It's been a lot of posts from Mayweather and Mayweather Promotions lately. There was a lot of talk back and forth over those periods of inactivity. Now it seems like they're being seen together. They're talking about each other. That's good for a fighter's career, right? You don't want a lot of turmoil.
By the way, before we forget, I want to say my condolences to 2 friends. Jackie Nunez, who was one of our partners, one of our media persons from New York City. Her mom passing away this past week. Jackie Nunez.
Of course.
Condolences to you and your family. May her soul rest in peace. Also, Georgie Negron, one of my employees here, his wife, Leah, passed away 2 weeks ago. We offer our condolences. We had a service this past Saturday here in Las Vegas. So our prayers go out to you and your family.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, so let's keep on going.
We had some big decisions this weekend. We had big decisions from big names. Now, we have Anthony Joshua, who has to make a big decision. He had an April date at Wembley Stadium. He's been saving. He's been hanging over our heads forever, talking about who wants this Wembley fight, who wants this Wembley fight, talking about Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. And turns out nobody wants that Wembley date.
Yeah.
So, Dylan White wants it, but he seems like he's not going to give it to Dylan White. All the rumors, if everything looks true, looks like it's going to be Jarrell Miller in New York, maybe Madison Square Garden, possibly Barclays Center. Later on, in the beginning of June. Now,
but these are kind of fights that the fans don't want to see because these guys they're not household names. They figure some kind of a palooka out of who knows from where. And I never heard of the guy.
He's American and you never heard of him. That's the point.
Yeah. Well, and it goes to show, if I'm in the games all my life and I'm following everybody, I never heard of this guy Miller. I mean, it tells you a lot about, come on, man.
Absolutely. We've talked about him on his fights, but only because his weigh-ins have been 312, 315. He's a giant punching bag. Now, the reason why he'd do this is because the biggest money fight out there, no matter what a lot of fans, mostly European fans, might say, is Deontay Wilder. And it's going to be in America. The biggest money fight, even if Deontay Wilder loses to Tyson Fury, is Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. It's not Tyson Fury in Wembley. It's Deontay Wilder in America because this is where money is. And that's just the way it is. The only reason he'd take a Jarrell Miller fight here instead of a Dylan White fight in London is to grow an American fan base and make that potential Deontay Wilder matchup way more profitable.
I think, you know what? I said again, I'm going to take off my jacket.
There we go.
I would have fight, man.
Do it.
I would have put on that weight.
Let's go.
They know me better than they know like I Miller.
You're much better,
Come
well
on,
known.
I'll probably draw better at the gate.
I know you would. I would pay.
I got to put on the weight? Oh, man.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, man, I got to put on some weight to fight this guy. Come on, man.
Yeah, you probably had to put on some weight to fight Jarrell.
I got to put on some weight to fight myself, man. Even if I shadow box, see myself in the mirror, I'm afraid to fight myself.
I'm afraid to fight you. You punch me all the time. But is this a good move from a business standpoint? I know it's not what the fans want to see, but if we're setting up for Deontay Wilder, from Matchroom's standpoint, is this a good move?
It's all a business. These guys know what they're doing. And if they would have made another move, it's like a chess game. You go this way, I may win this way. If I go that way, I may lose. Anything can happen. I mean, they've been so surprised in boxing.
Exactly.
An unknown guy. I still go back to the day when Mike Tyson got knocked out by Buster Douglas. Buster Douglas, a 40-1 underdog. Nobody even knew who Buster Douglas was. I mean, he was just an ordinary contender. Nobody were any threat in the heavyweight division. He knocks out Mike Tyson when Mike Tyson was in his prime. Not the end of his career, in his prime. So, it goes to show.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, guys.
I couldn't agree more. Well, let me ask you this one then, because this is a fun one. 1 year ago, when we were right here, Deontay Wilder was not a household name. No one knew him.
Right.
He had his belt, and he was, and nothing more. Everyone made fun of him because of his style, and everyone made fun of him because of his resume. Tyson Fury was completely out of the game. Weighed 400 pounds, and Anthony Joshua was the second biggest draw in the sport. He said, "You got to come to me. You got to fight on my terms. You have to take my percentages, if not a flat fee." Do you think that Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua's team overplayed their hand? Because now we're looking at a place where they're hoping to get a draw for Jarrell Miller fight in New York, and he has the same amount of belts.
We're talking about Eddie Hearn?
Yes, sir.
And the other?
Anthony Joshua's team. Did they overplay their hand? Because they had all the cards.
Okay, now the other team is Frank Warren?
No, but we're not really talking about them. We're just talking about Eddie Hearn and the Matchroom Sports team. They had all the cards. They had everything in front of them. Yeah. And now, because they asked for too much, perhaps, now they're not as much of a draw maybe as they were a year ago.
Sometimes you have to think and say, you make a decision today. I made some decisions that probably were not the best ones today. Or maybe I thought they were good. And then tomorrow I realized they were not the best decisions.
Is this one of those?
Yeah. Hey, this could be one of those. You make a mistake. You say, damn, I should have gone the other way. But you know what? You take a shot at it. You never know.
I get it. I agree. I feel that's how I feel about it. We have another decision, though, a big one, a big exciting one, a name we haven't said in a while and we like saying. Gennady Golovkin. Big Triple G Golovkin. This is a gentleman who obviously is just coming off a loss to Canelo following, which was the fight of the, the biggest fight of the year, and I believe was our choice for fight of the year in the Fair But Firm Awards. And the year before that, he was our choice for fight of the year in the Fair But Firm Awards. This is a gentleman who needs no introduction. He's choosing between two different deals right now. You have the PBC deal and the DAZN deal. There's also an ESPN talk. Apparently they met lately, but we know nothing about that deal. So we're going to leave that off the table for now.
Right.
Now, we don't know the details of this deal financially. There's a lot of rumors that have leaked, but because we don't know anything, we're going to leave the money out of it. Because obviously, most of the time, our choice would be take the most money, right?
Right.
So we don't know that. We know there's a PBC deal, which offers him multiple fights, including a guaranteed Jermall Charlo pay-per-view fight. We also know there's a guaranteed DAZN deal that offers a multi-fight deal that offers a tune-up, followed with the final trilogy fight against Canelo Alvarez. Now, we have two questions. I have two questions for you here, Joe. My first one is, what would you want him to do as the fight fan? And my second one is, my favorite question, what would Joe Cortez do if he was Gennady Golovkin?
Well, I would go for the Canelo fight.
Yeah?
For sure. I mean, come on. I want to see that rematch.
That's his legacy, right?
It's a rubber match to make sure, because there have been so many questions. So many fans thought that Canelo lost both fights.
Yeah, there are people that believe that.
Yeah, so I still think that maybe even some of the ringside experts thought that Canelo lost. So
Full disclosure, that's how I scored both of them.
So I thought that I think that they should have that trilogy and making sure that we seal the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and he's paid either way. So the only reason he would take the DAZN deal is because he wants the Canelo fight. The only reason he wouldn't take it is because he doesn't want the Canelo fight.
Well, I think he should take it.
I agree with you.
Because Canelo fight is the one going to make more money, and you can settle the score once and for all. But then again, you've seen other fighters. I mean, Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez 4 times.
Yeah.
Because even the third fight was
question marks.
Was the fight that left people like, well, no, he didn't do it yet. Let go for the fourth one.
Mm-hmm.
And Canelo Alvarez,
Juan
Manuel Marquez was satisfied at the end where he ended up winning by knockout. So
and it didn't affect Manny's career at all. I mean, it did, but it didn't affect his drawing ability. It didn't affect his fanship. You got to believe that if Triple G came in and put on a dominating performance and looked really good against Canelo and won, that it wouldn't hurt Canelo's numbers.
Right.
But it would be a really nice send-off for Triple G. Now the real question is, what if he signs that DAZN deal, and then Danny Jacobs, who's a real player at middleweight, what if he beats Canelo?
Well, that's it.
Then what do you do? Then you just spent $40 million for Triple G for no reason.
I interviewed Danny Jacobs a couple of weeks ago during the Pacquiao fight, and Danny Jacobs is he was very pleased and kind of surprised and honored that he was chosen as the next opponent for Canelo. Now, you know what? Danny Jacobs, they call him the Miracle Man.
For a reason.
Yeah. I mean, we know he had cancer, he came back, but still, you know what? He could be a Miracle Man and be the guy that knocks out or beats Canelo Alvarez.
Yes,
It can happen because he has the tools for it. The guy's got it.
Now exactly, I couldn't agree more. Now I'm not saying, because I just said that it wouldn't ruin Canelo's drawing power if he lost. But what it would mean is Danny Jacobs now becomes the man at middleweight. So that's why the potential Triple G clash would be a little bit different. And that's one of those things you got to factor in. That's one of it's one of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we know our friends out there in the United Kingdom. We want to say hello to you fans out there. We got to get out there soon and start doing some talk shows out there. I want to get you fans in Great Britain to get part of this, what we do here with the Fair But Firm show. And of course, we got my good friend out there, Dan Hewitt.
Yes.
And the other individuals for Into Boxing.
Oh, John Edmonds and Paul Humphreys and all those people.
Yeah,
we love all of you guys.
We want to say hello to you guys out there. All my fans that love me and all the fans that hate me. I love you all regardless. You know what? I may not be the best out there, but I'm hard to beat. Mm-hmm. You know why? Because I love you guys.
That's a tough thing to beat, man. No question.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
But anyway, I really think I used to have so much fun when I used to go to Great Britain to referee the fights out there. Mm-hmm. When Lennox Lewis was starting out.
Oh yeah, baby.
When Chris Eubank and Joe Calzaghe. I refereed so many fights out there, and in United Kingdom, it was just an honor being out there. Prince Nassim Ahmed, I refereed out there several times.
And he was so great.
I mean, what great memories I had out there. It was just so much fun.
I got a quick question for you, Joe. Yeah. Regarding that Danny Jacobs fight, and regarding what the fans saw after the Canelo win, they asked Danny Jacobs, are you going to need to knock out Canelo to get the decision? And he said, I might need to knock him out to get a draw. He was joking, obviously. Yeah, no, but is that a concern if you're Danny Jacobs' team?
No, I don't think so. As long as you have the right judges there, good qualified judges will not be swayed by the popularity of Canelo Alvarez.
And
of
he's a larger than life figure, man.
You know, but you know what? As a judge, the real judges,
You have to be unbiased.
they have to look at fighter A, fighter B. You know, when they got that belt on and they take the belt off in the ring is given to the supervisor. The supervisor takes that belt and gives it over to the commissioner at the table. You know what that means, fans? That means that there's no champion in the ring. The belt's taken off. Now, the judge is supposed to look at that as fighter A and fighter B.
I like that.
There's no champion in there. When that bell rings, even start, but both same level as far as I'm concerned as a judge. That's where you got to see it. But if you're going to get influenced by the crowd, by the yelling, or the punch up, where the fighter throws a punch and he misses by a mile, and you're screaming like, oh man, he hit him. You know, if the judges are going to get swayed by that, then they should not be judges.
I agree.
We need real professional judges who can handle the pressure and know that we're not there to favor a certain fighter. We're there to do a job.
Absolutely.
You know? And it's just that's where.
And when I ask a question like that, I don't want to seem like I'm talking about corruption, because as we talk about, that doesn't exist like we talk, like a lot of lazy fans think it does. But like you said, it's easy for certain human beings, most human beings, to be swayed by the crowd, to be swayed by a lot of things. And when you have a 50-50 round that you're going one way or the other, you lean towards the A side. That happens far too often. Yeah. And I think that's what we're discussing here.
Yeah, you know, when I was an active referee, and I was also a judge. Plus, they only had 2 judges and a referee.
Wore a lot of hats.
Was the third judge. I had to call a fight. I would stay away from reading the media. So for all that, I don't want to even read about what they're saying out there, because I don't want to be influenced. Even subconsciously, you start thinking about, this fighter is talking a lot of smack about this guy, or he's saying something bad about the judges and referees. You got to stay away from all that. Don't pay attention to that. A real judge got to call it the way it is. Be neutral at all times.
I couldn't agree more.
You know,
I like that very much.
Yeah.
I have another question, because you talk about the talking smack about each other. Now, Gervonta Davis has walked back these comments, but he originally accused Abner Mares of faking the injury. He texted him and said he was faking the injury. This last week we had Teofimo Lopez that got a lot of blowback for the dancing he did over Diego. Is there a line in boxing? Is there a line where it goes beyond sportsmanship, and or is it just guys having a good time and fun, and this is a man's sport? And
I think when the adrenaline kicks in, these fighters, they start acting funny and goofy and everything.
Agreed.
You know what? Get it, smack him in there, stop all that stuff, and let's do it the right way, you know? But a lot of these guys, they're having a lot of fun. They're kids, you know, having fun, you know? They're so,
I like it.
You know, they're so focused in their training, and they want to get things going, and they have to be so disciplined. But yet, you got the fans out there say, come on, he's kind of cocky. He's doing this, he's doing that. He shouldn't be acting that way. But, you know, the thing is that you said to yourself, what are we going to do? Are we going to let these guys who are disciplined and so much that they got to walk in there like soldiers and act like soldiers in the ring and walk out? Come on, you know?
I think there's different styles of fighters, man. There's the guys, there's the quiet, dignified, there's the Roberto Durans, there's the Julio Cesar Chavez's, and there's also the Floyd Mayweathers. There's the showboats, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's the Sugar Ray Leonards, and that's what makes the sport awesome, is you have all these different personalities.
Exactly. If you guys have any questions, you can ask any questions, so this way we can answer it before we go off the air. We got our engineer back here on the tablet. We got 3 minutes to talk about. If you have any questions, please ask them. We'll answer them as
absolutely. While we're doing that, I want to do my shout outs at the end. I want to make sure that I let you guys know to please follow us on and subscribe on iTunes. Follow us, subscribe Spotify. Follow us, subscribe anything you have. Google Play, Audio Boom. We're on everything. We're on SoundCloud. We're everywhere. We also have our radio show on 101.5 FM and 7:20 AM here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it's every Saturday at 11:30 AM. And make sure you text boxing to 888 at 888-901-2466 to join our boxing network. We're setting up a lot of stuff on there. And not to mention, all of our episodes, even the past episodes, including the Saturday shows, are available on YouTube with video. Please make sure you check us out on there. I should have mentioned that earlier. Thank you, Charlie. And make sure you subscribe.
Exactly. That's so important, because when you text on that phone, boxing, 888-901-2466 to join our free membership network. Because I'll be talking about, when you dial in, we're going to get you to become a member. Once you're a member, we'll be talking about different topics in boxing, how to be a judge, be a referee, be a timekeeper, be an inspector, or start off from the amateur ranks. We'll start giving seminars online, be certification courses where you have gone to the Faber firm, a boxing academy, and this way you can take that certificate to your local federation or commission and say you have attended these courses, and this way they'll take you a little bit more serious that you want to go forward in boxing, So I think that you can try to make it to the top. Now, one of the things I also fans are always asking, Joe, have you ever been offered any money to fix a fight or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You guys, anybody asks that kind of question, I think you're kind of, I don't know what you're smoking, man. But let me tell you one
Conspiracy
thing.
theories.
You know, there is nothing like that in boxing. You know, there's people say that because they say they have nothing else better to say.
They're lazy, man.
You know, when their fighter loses, come on, get a life.
It's always that.
Get a life. You know, boxing is not fake. There's no money being offered to no officials. You might have seen that back in the days in the 30s and 40s.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the movies. That doesn't happen. Believe me. This sport is too serious. It's a straightforward sport. Anybody who dares to make an offer to an official, if captured, they can end up going to jail. I mean, that's something that you don't do.
No, it's way too serious.
Yeah,
and at that level of the sport, it's just it's unheard of.
Yeah. So if the guy who asked that question just now, start thinking a different way. Be a little bit more, thinking up here a little bit more with more smarts, because boxing is not fixed. A lot of you fans who just don't have nothing else better to do or say, we're going to go that route. If you know it's serious, if you very serious about the sport, and you're officials, you got law enforcement individuals that are judges, referees, timekeepers, all the guys. A lot of individuals are trying to do the right thing. And when you hear that,
too many fans are too quick to yell robbery these days just because their fighter lost. It happens every single fight. It happened on both sides of the Charlo fight. It's kind of unbelievable.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you that I feel that the Charlo fights, they.
No, I'm saying like literally, people screamed robbery on both sides of both fights.
Right.
And it happens all the time. You see it all the time with every single fighter. I mean, you've seen it with if you are screaming robbery after a beautiful fight, then you're robbing yourself. I said it after the Fury Wilder fight, and I'll say it again. That's how it is. Your only robbery that's happening is the robbery you're giving yourself there.
Yeah, I think when you start thinking that way, you're already robbing yourself of thinking about how wonderful a sport this is. You start talking like that, and people are gonna start thinking that maybe the game is fixed. And things like that. That's what makes it more difficult for the fans to sometimes accept boxing. They say boxing is fixed because some political out there start saying something, and it's not true. There's no fact to it,
No, it's not, and it's really a shame to see it. And like I said, you're doing a disservice to yourself, the fan, yourself, the viewer. Just because your fighter lost doesn't mean everyone's paid and boxing's out to get you.
Yeah. Now, some fans are asking, Joe, would you have stopped the fight when Tyson Fury went down? Well, in most cases, any referee would have stopped that fight because the way he went down, he went like that. And you go like that, you're going to say, oh, my God. And look, he's not going to wake up. You look at him, you automatically wave it off. But Jack Priest, a real seasoned professional referee,
absolute pro,
probably saw something different. You got to be up close. He started counting over this guy. I think when Tyson Fury hit the canvas, I think I woke him up.
Jack Reese said that. He said that on our show that next Monday.
Yeah.
He said when he said 5, he got startled like when you wake somebody up.
Yeah, he jumped up and it was like it was in the first round.
Thank you for your questions, fans. We appreciate that.
Good questions, guys. Keep your guards up at all time. Protect yourselves at all time. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. God bless.